Schaefer. As we take a look at the starting lineups for Texas, Rory Harmon, Shea Holle, Madison Booker, Jackalangam, Wenenton. About 2 hours away from Columbia. Kitts and Jones to jump it up, and the SEC championship game is underway.
You see Texas starting out in their pressure man-to-man defense. A key for South Carolina. Don't let that disrupt their flow offensively.
Kitts floater is good.
Multiple players touching the basketball. Chloe Kitts, Sanaya Fagan both have been so good throughout the course of this SEC tournament. Scoring and with the efficiency with which they're playing.
Kitts shooting at 84% in the tournament. Fagan in the 70s. Here's Booker. Off to Holle. Her jumper won't go. Rebound whacked out of bounds, and it stays here with Texas.
Something to keep your eye on in terms of matchups at this end of the floor. Bree Hall defending Madison Booker. Bree Hall is one of the elite defenders, not only in the SEC, but in the country. And of course, Madison Booker is certainly one of the elite offensive players.
And you can see the way Hall sticking on Booker on the inbound. Here's Wenenton off to Harmon. Had 3 big field goals in the 4th last night. Short on that one, and Fagan secures it for South Carolina.
Pow Pow really handled the hard hedge well, kept her dribble, able to get penetration into the paint, and a nice little finish.
Dawn Staley talked about not wanting the pressure of Texas to speed them up offensively. So far, South Carolina's handled it really well. Here's Harmon again in the mid-range. That one is off. Jones saving it, but right to Powell, and South Carolina with control and an early 4-0 lead. Powell behind the back. Here's Fagan. Putting it on the deck to the corner. Powell cross court. Hall thought about the 3. 8 to shoot. Powell back iron it off with a long rebound. Holle.
That was a beautiful possession by South Carolina. Every player on the floor touched it. They reversed sides multiple times.
Jones off the double. Booker the crossover. Can't hit the jumper, and Kitts secures the strong side rebound. Kitts gives it up. Fagan, a great interior passer. Able to squeeze that to Powell, who turns it over. Here comes Harmon with Texas running. Harmon eyes up, floats it into traffic, and it's out of bounds off of Texas.
A couple of possessions ago, you see the wing ball screen by South Carolina. The hard hedge by Wenenton. Powell navigates it beautifully, uses patience and the spin to finish inside. Ryan, it's worth remembering, Texas had the late game yesterday. They did not get out of here until probably about 10 o'clock last night. And you wonder if any of that fatigue will be evident, not only late in this game, but even maybe early.
Holle?
Well, Vic Schaefer actually did cancel their shoot-around this morning, being mindful of his players' legs. They went to cryotherapy instead. I talked to the players before the game, and they said, our legs feel great. Could be a little bit more nerves than leg fatigue right now. Even Vic Schaefer got into the cryo chamber, so he's feeling good too.
All right, Holle, thank you very much. Booker dumps it down, and it's knocked out of bounds. Stays here with Texas. One of the things that Vic Schaefer talked to us about as well was the importance of hitting some shots early in order to get his team to defend. You hear that ovation. That's Malaysia Fulwiley checking in. Was the SEC tournament MVP a season ago and has a good chance to win it again here. That's Bree Hall. Slaps that out of bounds, and then has a big grin.
I love it. She deflects it, hits it, and then like, I'm going to get it one more time as if she's playing volleyball.
You can see even Chyna Cross, one of our officials there, smiling as Hall went for the extra smack. Harmon gets it into Wenenton. Tanda nearly lost her footing. Gets it to drop in, though. That's a tough bucket from Jakalenga Tanda.
I mean, she had completely lost her balance in her lower half, so that was a tough recover and finish for sure.
Here's for Wiley. For Wiley dancing through, making it look easy.
I mean, Vic Schaefer told us one of the keys for his team defensively is to keep South Carolina guards in front of them. Good luck with that with Mylasia for Wiley. Many have tried, many have failed.
Harmon bounces. Jones, good hands, couldn't finish it. Here comes for Wiley. Hall gets fouled by Booker. An early personal on Madison Booker. Always worth watching.
Mylasia for Wiley just navigating. Look, she slices through three players, has a 6'4" shot blocker coming to contest, and the beautiful English using the backboard.
All SEC second team this year. The SEC sixth woman of the year.
Why is it called English when you spin it off the backboard like that?
I'm sure someone will have that answer for you shortly.
I hope they do.
For Wiley, step back jumper off, and Booker the rebound for Texas. Booker has it knocked away from behind by Fagan. Able to slow down a break there from the Longhorns.
And keep an eye on the fact that Madison Booker picked up her first foul. Remember, she had been in foul trouble in the first game of this matchup.
It has been at times. Oh, we have a little LED board issue.
Ooh. Well, just leave it there?
Feels like that's the best solution at this moment.
They're going to want a rebate.
There's a P and speed's missing. Here's Booker. Dumps it down. Jones, again a good look. The follow is good. Taylor Jones had a big first half against South Carolina in Texas's win in February. Here's Fagan, quick step, great pass. For Wiley, shovels, Joyce Edwards, can't bank it in. Rebound, Fagan underneath, can't finish it, knocked around. When Tanda comes away with it, and a held ball, possession now belongs with Texas.
Just a nice pass inside. Taylor Jones doing a really good job of gathering on the offensive board and finishing. Does really nice, keeping the ball high so it can't get wrapped up for a jump ball.
Vic Schaefer has talked about it being a feel thing for when he goes with Jones, when he goes with Oldacre. His two-headed monster at the center position as the foul is called here against USC and UCLA. Charlie feels that is set, but where you fall in those one seeds could be determined by who wins these title games today, as Booker gets a good look, couldn't finish it. When Tanda has it deflected and taken by the freshman Edwards. Here's Raven Johnson, pull up, she got it.
Raven Johnson has been relatively quiet in this SEC tournament when it comes to her scoring, but certainly did not hesitate at all there.
Here's Booker. Draws for Wiley. Booker elevates. Can't finish. Johnson the rebound. Booker 0 for 3. Oh, for Wiley. Nearly another highlight.
Ryan, when these teams met the first time this year in Columbia, Madison Booker struggled in that game. She had 7 points on only 3 of 19 from the field. She's so important for Texas in terms of her efficiency.
Last night, she was their source of offense. Real struggle for both teams to score in their semifinal matchup with LSU. Here's Edwards. Throws it away. Holly to steal. Here comes Booker, flinging it down the floor. Harmon bounces in. Jones surrounded, able to reverse it home. South Carolina wanted to travel. Taylor Jones has gotten a couple good looks in the early going.
You know what that was? Nice English.
Wait, did we get to the bottom of it? For Wiley, leaves it short. Rebound, Holly for Texas. It's billiards, right?
I think it comes from billiards. I don't know what's the origin there, but
I think it's an Englishman who came over, played some billiards with a certain amount of spin, and then they called it English. putting English on it?
Because he was an Englishman?
That was one thing I read.
Okay.
You know, I've heard the internet can deceive us, though. 3:31 to go in the first. 8-6. South Carolina leads Texas. Booker, guarded by Tessa Johnson in off the bench. Justice Carlton in for Texas. Holly was open in the corner. Carlton travels, and Texas turns it over. Hey, coming up next, we finish up Championship Sunday with Baylor against TCU and the Phillips 66 Big 12 title on the line.
Those two teams met just a week ago for the regular season title. TCU able to win that one in a close game.
3 turnovers now for Texas in this first quarter. A low-scoring frame. Here's Johnson. Backs away for Wiley. Shimmies, dishes. Pow out to Edwards. Her jumper. No. And Booker secures it for Texas.
That was a lovely rebound by Madison Booker.
Here's Booker. Elevates. Drops it short. 0 for 4 to start for Wiley. Dashing. Had it knocked away by Harmon. Interesting decision there by Shea Holly. She maybe had a chance to grab that basketball, let it go out of bounds, but it was Harmon who had hit it last.
Great hands there by Harmon.
Or maybe Harmon hadn't hit it last.
Yeah.
Tessa Johnson, great look, and Pitts finishes.
This South Carolina team is very unselfish and willing to make the pass and capable of doing so, making right decisions.
In tight spaces as well.
Yes.
Holly will fire. Can't hit, was 0 for 8 last night. Edwards gets it ahead. Here's Pow on the open floor. Texas gets back defensively. Johnson around the hedge, pull up, around and off, and lands in the lap of Taylor Jones. South Carolina 5 for 13, Texas 3 for 13. And a whistle here against South Carolina. Not many whistles in this first as Kyla Oldacre will check in for Texas. Let's send things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, as you mentioned, Madison Booker with 3 of 19 in the first meeting. She started out today 0 of 4. But I talked to her about how she processed that performance and how she can move on from it. She said, you know, it happens, but I did get in my head about it. Coach told me I've just got to keep my eyes on the next play and realize your shot's affected and not going in. You have to do other things, steals, rebounds, create for your teammates. So it's interesting that now she's starting out 0 for 4 right now. I want to see what else she's doing to not get in her head today.
And one of the things she can do well, you see Oldacre having an immediate impact coming into the game that Booker has done well. Even in games where she hasn't been able to shoot efficiently, she's found a way to get fouled, get to the free throw line, manufacture points there.
Foul here on Shea Holly will send Tessa Johnson to the line. Oh, are they going to check who they call that on? It's going to be on Lee instead, so it'll be the first on the freshman Jordan Lee. But to your point, Rebecca, that last meeting against South Carolina, Madison Booker drew 8 fouls in that game, had a big bounce back performance with 20 points, 11 rebounds in Texas's win. As Tessa Johnson sinks the first free throw. Oh, triple flip. Nicely done. Johnson hits both. 4-point South Carolina lead. 1:20 to go in the first quarter of the SEC championship game. Here's Lee. Looking for Booker. Picked up her dribble, needs help, kicks it away. For Wiley. through traffic, elevates, can't flip it in, gets the rebound, Fagan's jumper, in and out. And a box out from Lee allows Texas the rebound.
Really good, especially when she gets a couple rhythm dribbles into her mid-range jumper.
Did not have a field goal entering the fourth quarter last night, then hit 3 mid-range jumpers to help Texas close down LSU. About a 13-second difference, game and shot clock. Harmon bats it away, Pow Pow flags it down, 7 to shoot. Pow Pow sending away Kitts, 3 to shoot. Pow Pow hoists, in and out. Booker the rebound. Vic Schaefer yelling, hold for one here, hold for one. Booker, 3 seconds left in the quarter. Booker behind the back, turns it over, and that'll do it for the first. Greenville only about 2 hours from Columbia. South Carolina's fans travel so well, and it is loud for the Gamecocks. Meanwhile, Texas trying to join this group to win a major conference tourney title in their first year in that conference. Here's Kitts giving it up. Kitts goes down, Harmon underneath her. Booker ends up with a steal, and Oldacre gives it right back.
South Carolina got the switch they wanted with a small on Chloe Kitts, but too many bodies in there, couldn't deliver it inside.
Booker 0 for 7 over the last 2 quarters. Holly way off on the 3, and the rebound out of bounds. Looked like it had last hit Booker. South Carolina certainly thought so. Let's see, did it get Hall or did it get Booker? Oh, maybe it got the left hand of Hall.
You know, when you talk about Madison Booker, especially in this matchup, remember that South Carolina has multiple very good defenders with length.
Yes.
And both Bree Hall, who's guarding her now, and Tessa Johnson, both are 6 feet long, athletic, make life hard for whoever they're guarding.
We saw what a wonderful job Bree Hall did on Madison Booker in the first meeting back in January between these teams. Shot clock at 1, Harmon's 3 off the mark, and Fagan the rebound. What a delivery from Fagan.
Lee was working hard to try to get around the front side, and Chloe Kitts held the seal, and that's what you do when you're in the post. Ducks in, puts her arms up, Fagan delivers beautifully, and how about Kitts? Gets hit in the face, keeps the confidence there, and what do you do when your teammate passes you the basketball for an assist, Ryan?
You point,
You
give him some
point.
love. Sanaya Fagan is such an outstanding passer at that position. And the high-low passing game of South Carolina, terrific. Largest lead thus far, it is 5 for the Gamecocks. Here's Booker, surrounded by Gamecocks.
And they're going to continually be able to surround her in the middle of the floor if her teammates can't extend the defense by making threes.
Booker veering, dumping, stolen away, and then out of bounds. Shot clock at 4. Hey, what a star-studded NBA Sunday matchup we have for you. 8 Eastern, Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs have already clinched the 1 seed in the East. They'll be in Milwaukee squaring off against Giannis, Dame, and the Bucks. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. Wenentanda has her pass knocked away, tips to Harmon, shot clock violation. Texas turns it over. Sixth turnover already for Texas. Dawn Staley talked about, hey, Madison Booker's good, but we just have to avoid giving up looks to her where she's in the rhythm she wants to be. So far, they've been successful in that.
And it's been a team effort. She has been surrounded anytime she catches the ball in the paint area.
6 rebounds for Booker, trying to make an impact otherwise. Meanwhile, Rory Harmon is down. Rory Harmon down in the backcourt. Harmon, who tore her ACL early last season, battled so hard to get back. Down in pain.
I think she might have gotten hit in the face, Ryan.
Make Rory Harmon's nose feel any better.
Sinai Fagan was boxing out, and the incidental contact came with Fagan's arm hitting Rory Harmon in the nose.
So instead, Preston, Brianna Preston, the freshman, comes into the game. Vic Schaefer says, I have a fast point guard and an electric point guard. Preston electric as Booker kicks it out of bounds. That is the 7th Texas turnover.
And Texas is trying to get Booker going, off the dribble, giving her some space. There's just no space to be had, especially in the middle part of the floor because of South Carolina's help defense.
Texas opened the game 0 for 4 from the floor. They have not led. South Carolina's maintained a modest lead as Oldacre able to gobble up that pass. Here's Booker dumping it down. An inaccurate pass to Oldacre. Preston ends up with it. When Ntanda inside, gets denied by Kitts and controlled by Hall. Raven Johnson dumps it down. Chloe Kitts shovels. Fagan finishes.
We've talked about the interior passing and the connection between those two young women in particular, Kitts and Fagan. They are always looking for one another.
Kitts had a career-high 25 points in the quarterfinals. Here's Booker sliding through. Can't hit. Johnson, what a rebound. Booker now 0 for 5. And a whistle on Preston is going to slow down the South Carolina break.
Chloe Kitts has made an impact on both ends of the floor throughout the course of this season and tournament. Just a beautiful block on one end, gets sandwiched, passes the ball off to Fagan on the other.
Recently had a triple-double. We've seen the passing on display from Fagan. Again, nice look from Kitts. Fagan with a second chance here for South Carolina. Hall a 3. No.
And Ryan, this is a Texas team with only 2 losses on the season. They've had tremendous success, and they do it without utilizing the 3-ball. They shoot 30%. They make about 3 threes per game. And in this game in particular, it is hurting them because South Carolina's been able to shrink the floor.
Right. Do you have to just take some more attempts to try and soften that
from
defense?
Your right people. If you can get Holly going, if you can get Jordan Lee, who spent much of the season above 40% from 3. But right now, look at where all the South Carolina defenders are.
And Lee on the bench right now with 2 personals. Here's Booker.
Everybody's in the paint.
When Ntanda, nothing doing for Texas. Preston, 3 to shoot. Preston gonna have to put it up. Wild attempt and another outstanding defensive possession from South Carolina.
And having a dirty lane like that, Ryan, not only makes it hard to get post-entry passes, you can't get any dribble penetration or cuts through the lane or any way to get the easy looks around the rim.
Texas is 348th in Division I at 3-point attempts. They take just 10.5 a game. They make just over 3, as Rebecca said, which is 346th in the nation. Despite all of that, they have the 4th most efficient offense in the nation. But against certain teams, you just may need to access that outside shot here and there.
And one of the reasons their offense is so efficient throughout this season is getting to the free throw line and making up for it there. They have not taken a free throw yet here today.
Rory Harmon back into the game for Texas. Good news for the Longhorns, their senior leader. Here's well, next Sunday, we'll have the exclusive announcement of the 68-team NCAA Women's Championship field again this year. We'll break down every team and every matchup in each region, 8 Eastern on ESPN with a bonus hour of coverage at 9 on ESPN2. Another turnover, the 9th for Texas. For Wiley, lost it. Booker ends up with it for the Longhorns. Booker slithering, dishing. When Ntanda pivots inside and gets denied. Edwards there. Texas has not scored yet in the second quarter. Vic Schaefer finally taking the jacket off. That might be what the Longhorns need. Edwards with a lane, foul called on Oldacre. Free throws for Joyce Edwards.
South Carolina's defense has been absolutely stifling already in this game. Joyce Edwards does a good job. When Intanda gets by her, she's able to block from behind. Here it comes. The eye roll and the removal of the jacket. I want someone there to hand my jacket to when I take it off like that.
Anytime you want, partner.
Yes, anytime. Oh, you're...
Yeah, I'm volunteering.
Oh, okay.
Edwards.
I thought you were clarifying. Yes, every time.
How about Joyce Edwards, the freshman, just so poised in big moments. Dawn Staley's talked about it all season and how, as the season's gone along, the game has slowed down even more for her. We saw her have a huge performance yesterday in the win against Oklahoma. Off to a good start today.
Raven Johnson is just sitting in the lane, not even worried about where Rory Harmon is.
Oldacre surrounded, flips it up and off. Rebound for Wiley.
Mylasia Fulwiley, we talk about her when she has a head full of steam. So quick, getting to the rim, gets by any defenders. Here, doesn't matter, right side of the floor, left side, just puts the Jets on. That's the second time she's able to finish over Jones.
Well, she has such a unique finishing package as well, Rebecca. We talked about the English off the window before. Left hand, right hand, sometimes from difficult angles, even traditionally further away from the rim than you would want to get, she can stop and hook it in.
Look at Fulwiley on the help side. You can't get the ball into Oldacre when she's able to play off like that. Now it's Raven Johnson in the paint.
13-0 South Carolina. Harmon, no. Here comes Fulwiley, the get-ahead. Johnson! Touchdown!
When you do not have to worry about three-point shooters defensively, you can play off, clog up the paint. That's what South Carolina does. First from Fulwiley, then from Raven Johnson. It makes it so difficult for the Texas Post to get anything easy. And then it leads to a burst of energy by Fulwiley the other way. I mean, just the difference in the ease of the paint scoring for South Carolina versus the difficulty for Texas. Bench loves it, fans love it. Texas still has not scored in this quarter.
Let's take a look at today's player resume brought to you by Indeed. Mylasia Fulwiley, last year the first freshman to win the SEC Tournament MVP award since Candace Parker. And we know you're watching, Candace. Hi. Fulwiley trying to make it consecutive SEC Tournament MVPs. For a little more on Fulwiley, here's Holly Rowe.
Mylasia Fulwiley is so electric and fun to watch. I asked her earlier this year, when did you know that you were something special in basketball and you could be this good? She said, actually, I was in 4th grade. I became the MVP of my 4th grade boys team. She said, I still have that trophy. My mom's got it in the house, and I knew then I was something special because I was better than all the boys.
Hold on to that trophy forever. Thank you, Al. Shot clock down to 4. Harmon puts up the mid-range and hits. First points of the quarter for Texas. Look at Edwards just beating everyone down the floor. And Raven Johnson, such a great get-ahead passer.
I mean, Texas finally scores after a tough possession where they shared the basketball both sides of the floor. And South Carolina just answers with a wide-open layup.
Jones turns, doesn't get the roll, knocked out of bounds. South Carolina basketball.
We've been talking about this throughout the course of the season. Raven Johnson is a very good get-ahead passer. Joyce Edwards and all of the post players for South Carolina will run the floor and then point to the passer, Ryan Ruocco. That's 2 already in one game.
Here's for Wiley, wiggling, taking off. Fagan in. Fagan with 6 boards in the half. South Carolina dominating Texas thus far. Third meeting of the season between these teams. Splitting the first 2. And a 3-second violation. 10th turnover for Texas. The last team to be held under 20 points in the first half of the SEC championship game. 2018 Mississippi State against South Carolina. Vic Schaefer was the head coach of Mississippi State. Dawn Staley, the head coach of South Carolina. Edwards tosses in. Fagan to the corner for Wiley. Off.
But another great pass by Sanaya Fagan from the interior to a shooter out on the perimeter.
She's been doing it with both hands today, too, as Booker finally gets one to drop. Madison Booker, who had 25 last night, scores her first points today with that jumper. Can Texas make a little push here before halftime? For Wiley, the whirl, just left it short. Every time she has the ball in her hand, something exciting happens. Booker quick trying to tie her shoe. Harmon waiting for her. In the quarterfinals, lost her shoe, and Harmon was the player who grabbed it and eventually exchanged it for the basketball. 5 to shoot. 2 to shoot. Harmon has to. Does she get it off? She does. It hits. And South Carolina will take a timeout. Texas finding a little more rhythm offensively. So we mentioned this was the first issue of podiatry for Madison Booker.
In the quarterfinal, her shoe comes off right there. You see it on the floor. Rory Harmon picks the shoe up and plays the possession out defensively, holding the shoe. Well, Madison Booker gets the rebound, then they flip, exchange shoe for basketball seamlessly and go the other way. This is a moment ago. She loses the shoe. Does she lose the shoe again, or just needs to tie it up?
She had to tie it up, and she was just mouthing, my shoe, my shoe. But you know, that's where the 30-second shot clock helps. Just get it across half court, tie the shoe, and continue the possession.
Right. Why don't you just tie him tighter so that doesn't happen?
That is also a solution. Rebecca, meanwhile, Texas last few times down the floor, they've gotten some better looks on the offensive end, Harmon and Booker.
But it's still all self-creation.
Yeah.
It's still one-on-one, trying to get by or over your defender, finishing with a tough shot. Nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. We see Texas now. Are they in a zone?
15-point lead for South Carolina. Here's Tessa Johnson. The defender falls. Kitts dumps it down. Edwards patiently flips it up. Kitts on the follow. Chloe Kitts with 9 points, 4 of 5 from the floor. She's over 80% in this SEC tournament. Kitts also a candidate for tournament MVP the way she's played. If South Carolina should win today. Harmon looking inside, shot clock at 3, thrown away. 11th Texas turnover. 3 seconds left. Johnson can't find Kitts, had her, and just a bit inaccurate with the pass. 1.3 remaining in this second quarter.
100% the right idea, just threw it a little bit too much ahead of Chloe Kitts.
Booker will inbound, gets it ahead. Holly dumps it down, and that will do it for the first half. South Carolina's defense completely dominant, holding Texas to 6.
Bench had the same amount of points as the Texas team in that first half at 16.
Texas without a free throw, without a three-pointer in that first half. The three-pointer is somewhat expected. The free throw is not. Here's Jones, and South Carolina's D picking up where it left off. That's now 12 Texas turnovers Lob it into Kitts. Kitts waits, dishes, extra feed, pow pow. Back ironing off. Kitts the offensive rebound. Right back to pow pow. How about Hall? Short.
Again, though, a beautiful possession for South Carolina. Just the way they're sharing and moving the basketball.
They really have played some beautiful basketball in this SEC tournament in all three matchups, as Harmon gets another mid-range to fall.
A self-created shot. We saw that a lot from Madison Booker in the semifinal game. We're seeing it here from Maury Harmon.
Hall peels back, off to Pow Pow. Here's Pow Pow turning the corner. Raven Johnson can't hit the three. Some great looks again for South Carolina.
They're doing a really good job of getting paint touches and then delivering on-the-money passes to perimeter players.
Here's Booker, a quiet first half. Tough jumper off. Jones put back in.
What a luxury for South Carolina defensively when your four-player and Chloe Kitts can switch out and give a great contest on Madison Booker.
Good start to the quarter for Texas. And a foul here is going to go against Texas. It'll be Shea Holly. That'll be her first. What do you need to see from Texas to continue to climb back into this game, Rebecca?
Well, they're going to have to get some stops defensively, and even though South Carolina's got a couple good looks, they have gotten those stops, but they've got to figure out a way, if they can, to get out in transition, find anything easy at the rim.
Pow Pow found something easy at the rim there. 35-20, South Carolina in front. SEC championship game. Harmon and Jones accounting for most of Texas's limited offense. Booker gets fouled by Hall, who ends up falling on Booker, and free throws for Madison Booker. The first free throw attempts of the game for Texas.
The post players for South Carolina are outstanding passers, and we've seen it throughout the course of this game, sometimes interior to out. How about that little bounce pass from Kitts to the cutting Pow Pow?
One of the things we talked about it yesterday, but Dawn Staley really emphasizes with her bigs, is that they can do everything the guards can do. And you see that from the way that they pass. As Booker hits the first free throw. And the passing from Kitts and Fagan has been just terrific. Meanwhile, you just saw that graphic, how much Texas uses the free throw line. Now, they have not gotten there yet today. This was their first trip when Intanda comes up with it, but it's going to be South Carolina basketball as they have the possession out.
And realistically, for Texas to continue to cut into this lead, they're just going to have to make tough shots. Because the way South Carolina is playing defense, they're probably not going to get easy looks. So Booker's going to have to make tough shots. Rory Harmon's going to have to make tough shots.
Booker 1 of 7 in this game. Pow Pow dances back beyond the arc. Directing traffic. Pow Pow drives it in a crowd. Kitts looking for an angle. Finds Fagan. Her jumper is good. Again, the unselfish nature and the ability to pass in tight spaces. Kitts finding Fagan. Holly's jumper off. Pow Pow the rebound. With some pace, lob it inside, taken away by Harmon. Here's Harmon trying to get something going on the run for Texas. Wide open, Shea Holly's three, short. And Shea Holly's shooting struggles continue. 0 for 8 yesterday, 0 for 5 today, including 0 for 3 from 3.
And that's about as open a look as Texas can hope to get.
Lob it inside, knocked away by Intanda. 6 to shoot for South Carolina. And we've seen games where Shea Holly gets hot from 3. Saw it in the Notre Dame matchup earlier this year. has gotten some good looks. They just have not fallen. She's the all-time winningest player in program history. Kids, tough look. Nearly got it to drop. Johnson bats it away, but it stays with Texas.
Raven Johnson's had a really nice defensive game here so far.
Harmon, you could tell, trying to speed it up and be more aggressive, and instead, Texas turns it over again.
Just there, Rory Harmon looked like she mistook the official for a second for a teammate and threw it there.
And you could see the toe of Madison Booker was just out of bounds.
And I know this is a Texas team that is in great physical condition and they have some depth, but they certainly have made some tired mistakes mentally and they look a little bit tired, understandably. Third game in 3 days after playing a game at 7 o'clock last night.
13 turnovers for Texas, which is what they average per game. For Wiley in, gets denied. What a rejection from Taylor Jones.
You know who doesn't look tired?
Taylor Jones?
Mylasia Fulwiley. But Taylor Jones able to come over and another block there for the big girl for Texas.
Well, in South Carolina's depth, such an asset as well in this tournament. They really have an even distribution of minutes across their rotation. As Fagan lost it, Fulwiley trying to get back to it. They're going to call the foul on Preston. They call that foul on Preston. Let's take another look. So Preston, hooking the arm of Fulwiley, grabbing her down. That's the right call.
It's probably got a name in wrestling. Is it a wrestling move?
I feel like it is. I wish I could be a greater source of information there for you.
Like the kind they do in college and the Olympics and stuff.
Out of bounds. South Carolina turns it over. Hey, coming up next, we finish up Championship Sunday. Baylor TCU, Phillips 66, Big 12 title on the line. What a season for TCU. What a bounce back season for Baylor. Tanda. Off to Harmon, pull-up jumper, off, Jones on the offensive glass, stripped, 14th turnover, and then a foul or a held ball? A held ball, and Texas has the possession arrow.
Texas went to their dribble drive offense that last time, got a decent look, but again, self-creation off the bounce, offensive rebound opportunity.
Vic Schaefer trying to get something going. His team, who has the 4th most efficient offense in the country. Texas, who is the #1 ranked team in the country, even though they're the #2 seed in this tournament. They have been held down today. Holly misses again. Tanda, an inaccurate pass, and Texas turns it over for a 15th time. And some of these turnovers, Rebecca, you talked about maybe fatigue playing a role. Also, they're hurried at times that they don't need to be.
Well, nothing has been smooth or easy on the offensive end for Texas. And, you know, when you're in a groove, you feel the groove. When you're completely out of it, you feel that strongly too. And certainly right now, they've been in zero flow at any point in this game.
South Carolina outscoring Texas 18-2 on layups in this game. They've also largely held Texas off the offensive glass as Fagan shows a little versatility.
We've seen multiple times various players from South Carolina look like they have a burst, including there on the blow-by drive. When have we seen Texas, like a player look like, oh, she had a burst on that play?
Harmon inside, Jones gets fouled. And free throws coming for Taylor Jones.
And Jen able to come over and help as well. Outstanding defense by South Carolina.
Jones hits the free throw. South Carolina has contested 12 of Texas's 13 attempts in the paint. I mean, and you could just really, you illustrated it beautifully, partner, and even on that last possession, you see, he's not guarding Harmon on the perimeter at all.
Yes. Watch the screen here. It comes. Tessa sets it. And then even though the help defense gets there a second late, Edwards able to finish. Beautifully delivered pass by Raven Johnson. I've seen that a couple of times here in the tournament out of a timeout. A really well drawn up play by South Carolina.
Third foul on Preston. The South Carolina went through some ups and downs this regular season. They're not accustomed to losing 3 regular season games over the last few years as Jones gets fouled on the interior. But Rebecca, in the couple games heading into the SEC tournament and then here in these 3 matchups, South Carolina has looked every bit primed to make another run towards the national championship.
One of the interesting things Dawn Staley told us a couple of weeks ago, she said, my team has lost when they've needed to and they've won when they needed to. And it's a relatively young team who still can learn a lot from those losing moments. And right now, certainly, this is a South Carolina team playing its best basketball of the season.
Jones has been the best option for Texas. 10 points, 6 rebounds for Taylor Jones. Largest lead of the game for the Gamecocks. Jones again gets fouled. Taylor Jones will shoot 2.
These last 2 possessions, you know how hard it is to catch the ball when you have that many people around your feet? It's a lot harder than catching here for Tessa Johnson on a great pass by Mylasia Fulwiley. Stepping right into it. We talked about it all game long with South Carolina. Paint touch to then good look from the perimeter.
Let's send things over to Holly.
Well, you're talking about South Carolina learning throughout the course of this season. Being perfect last year put a lot of pressure on them. I remember Dawn Staley telling us it's been helpful to not have the pressure of being undefeated all season long. But what has been different for them lately is their habits. When they got that big blowout loss to UConn, Dawn said all of our bad habits showed up in that game. Since then, the habits have returned to stellar. Rebounding, sharing the ball, great defense, the habits they need to make a run in March.
Great stuff, Holly, and they certainly look primed for that today as Johnson glides in.
Dawn Staley said coming into the SEC tournament, we need tournament Tessa. And she's had some really nice moments throughout this tournament and in this game.
12 points for Tessa Johnson. Again, playing way off Harmon.
Yes.
Preston gets denied by Fulwiley, but a foul. And free throws again for Texas. Huddling up, trying to get their group going. Tessa Johnson has other plans.
Yeah, 6 feet tall. You just see her swim right through, get back by the defense, and hit the easy one. We saw her step up and drain the 3 a couple possessions ago.
22-2 advantage on layups for South Carolina. Rebecca, Texas is getting to the line now, which they had not. They literally had not the entire first half. They're 8 of 9 here in this third quarter. But when you don't use the three-point line the way Texas does not, it's hard to climb out of holes like this.
Yeah, without question. You have to rely on turnovers in that instance in order to cut into this lead.
Booker gets a breather. 1 of 7 on the day. Texas's last 9 points from the free throw line. Just 2 made field goals in the quarter for Texas. Johnson's 3, in and out. And a whistle going to keep things here. Coming up tonight, 8:30 Eastern over on the SEC Network. The SEC Now crew will have their Women's Tournament Championship Trophy post-game show. Those ladies have done a wonderful job all week here in Greenville. Johnson, another 3 off. Raven Johnson trying to save it, could not. 2:17 to go in the third. A reminder, the Big 12 Championship coming up next here on ESPN, here on Champ Sunday. Duke already an impressive win over NC State to win the ACC Championship. In the corner, Lee off. Rebound Johnson again looking to push for the Gamecocks. Kids, good position. Gets denied by Taylor Jones, who's had some really good moments in this game for Texas. Couple of blocks, 12 points, 6 rebounds for Taylor Jones. The senior center, an Oregon State transfer. Sanaya Fagan will come in for Chloe Kitts for South Carolina. Kitts, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Johnson off to Fagan. For Wiley, what a cut. Oh, Malaysia nearly put it in. And a foul on Malaysia for Wiley. Texas in the bonus, so more free throws here. They have no field goals in the last 7 minutes. But this has been their most productive offensive quarter, thanks to all the trips to the line.
But they're still -1 in the quarter to South Carolina.
Well, Wiley will check out. Kahina Paopao back in for the Gamecocks. Harmon hits the first. Holly.
Well, it's still hard to believe, seeing how hard she plays, that Rory Harmon is just 14 months removed from an ACL injury that kept her out most of last year. As soon as she tore her ACL, she called all of the rehab people, all of the athletic training staff in and said, I'm going to need your best. I intend to get back, be ready to play at the beginning of next season. And she did that, getting cleared after just 10 months. Look at her fly around on the court. I just admire her spirit and her resolve coming back from that ACL tear.
Excellent report, Ollie, and so true as Edwards banks it in. Harmon ran a 6-minute mile just 8 months after her ACL surgery.
And you saw her probably 2 months ago kind of regain the burst that she had, because at her size, she needs elevation in order to get to her mid-range game, and that has returned. She's looking a lot closer to the player we saw before the injury.
Wanyontonda misfires on the jumper. Here comes Paopao. Into Edwards. Edwards, the footwork. The lay comes up short. 12-second difference, game and shot clock. Harmon wraps inside, up, under, and off. Follow is good for Taylor Jones, continuing to have a big third.
Yeah, she's been a real bright spot for Texas so far in this game.
14 points, 8 rebounds for Taylor Jones. Shot clock turned off. South Carolina can hold for a final look. Has been displaying all aspects of that pro skill set over the last couple of months, and somebody who certainly has WNBA aspirations. Dawn Staley's talked about that with us throughout the season, and you heard Dawn reference it earlier too, the way they try and develop players and spend time on that throughout the season with their players who hope to go to the next level. Sanaya Fagan has been doing a lot that I would think is attractive to WNBA front offices.
Yeah, and some of the things that kind of go unnoticed in terms of her physicality defensively in the post, how much she talks on the defensive end of the floor.
Jones couldn't spin that one in over Fagan, and gets the rebound. Dawn Staley talked about it, just trying to keep Texas off the line. They had just 3 made field goals in that third, but went 11 of 12 from the free throw line. South Carolina's lead is 19, fourth quarter of the SEC Championship. Kids lost it. Here comes Harmon. Harmon can't finish it over Paopao. Booker trying to come away with it, does, and a timeout taken by Texas. They will have just 1 remaining after this. We'll step aside. 9:05 to go in the fourth quarter of the SEC Championship. A 19-point lead, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals for Sanaya Fagan. As we send things over to Holly Rowe.
You know, Dawn Staley told us that they saw this greatness in Sanaya Fagan as a sophomore, but that she just kept putting obstacles in her own way. She had to get out of her own way. And coming up this summer, she ended up competing for the 2024 FIBA 3x3 team in the World Cup. and she was named the MVP and won the gold medal. That confidence she got from that event has poured into this season. She's out of her own way, out of her own head, moving quickly past any mistakes on the court, and this confidence continues to shine.
No doubt about it, Hall, and just making good winning plays all season long. Booker, meanwhile, has really struggled here again today against South Carolina, the SEC Player of the Year. Booker was terrific last night in a win against LSU with 25 points. But today, 1 for 8 from the floor. Johnson can't finish it. Loose ball. Hall has it.
This entire possession, Sanaya Fagan has been talking to her teammates, helping them understand where they should go, setting screens. Nothing that still shows up in a stat sheet, but absolutely things that help your team have success.
Raven Johnson. 3 to shoot. Johnson elevates. Leaves it short. Booker the rebound and a shot clock violation. It'll be Texas basketball. Well, since the 2021 NCAA tournament, Texas's lowest field goal percentage games have all come against South Carolina. The Elite Eight that year, January 12th this year, and a loss to South Carolina. And today, shooting at just 27%.
So much credit goes to what South Carolina has done defensively and just stymieing everything that Texas wants to do on the offensive end of the floor. Good Raven Johnson right now, just in the paint, not even looking out at Preston.
Booker, mid-range, rims off. Here's Johnson. Lob it into Kitts. Kitts backs away.
Running a two-man game on the right side of the floor with your forward and your center. And that's what we just saw with Fagan and Kitts.
Harmon pull up from the free throw line is good. Rory Harmon with 12. Taylor Jones with 14. The rest of Texas with just 9 combined. Here's Hall. Off to Pow Pow, under 7 minutes to go. Pow Pow, great attack, couldn't finish it. Oldacre, who's been mostly quiet in this game, with the rebound. Harmon, again in the mid-range, able to hit. Rory Harmon up to 14 points, and Dawn Staley will take a timeout. South Carolina having trouble with the inbound. 6:31 to go in the... Mylasia Fulwiley, Chloe Kitts, and Aya Fagan, I think all have legitimate cases. As Kitts, trouble with the inbound, throws it away, and still 6.5 minutes to go for Texas to try and make a run.
Dawn Staley calls a timeout because her team was unable to inbound the ball within the 5 seconds, draws up a play, and they still end up turning it over.
Harmon and Jones, 10 for 21. Rest of Texas, 3 for 23.
I'm just laughing watching Dawn Staley and her frustration over on the sideline.
Here's Lee, pull up, off. Rebound Harmon. Harmon, trying to create, leaves it short. Rebound Pow Pow. Pow Pow to the corner. Fulwiley bodies in, gets denied by Oldacre, and it's out of bounds off of Fulwiley.
A little bit on that possession, Mylasia Fulwiley. We talk about how her speed is such a great asset, and in here she just gets gobbled up.
Under 6 to go in the fourth. Can Texas make a push here? Down 17. Preston doesn't take the 3, lost the ball, gets it back. Flips it out, 10 to shoot. Booker quiet today, her jumper is good. Madison Booker, just her second field goal on 10 attempts. 15-point game, a little 6-0 burst from Texas. Still 5.5 minutes remaining. Edwards dumps it down. Kitts wide open.
I don't think there's a post player for South Carolina who isn't a great passer.
Yeah.
That was a tough pass to see over the defense and deliver it.
We've seen that all season from the freshman Joyce Edwards. All SEC first team. Harmon gives it up. Preston can't knock it down. Oldacre to the ground and a travel.
Joyce Edwards gets the ball on the right block. A couple of defenders come over to her. So what does she just looks? That's length. Oldacre, 6'10" wingspan there, leaving Chloe Kitts inside, and Edwards easily delivers it.
Texas 0 for 6 from 3 in this game. They were 0 for 4 in their win against South Carolina in February. Kitts having trouble getting it in. Finally does to Johnson. Some pressure in the backcourt. Johnson trying to get Lee on her hip. Breaks the timeline, and now South Carolina will run some clock. Edwards tosses out. 5 to shoot. Johnson, nice move. Flips it up short. Attempt of the day for Madison Booker. Maybe the first where she wasn't draped by defenders. Now she takes it away. Can't hit the jumper and kicks the rebound. Boy, that would have made things interesting. 14-point game, a 9-2 Texas run. Still a lot of time left. And we know this Texas team always battles. They have a ton of heart, a ton of grit.
And we saw in the quarterfinal game a massive comeback by Vanderbilt against South Carolina. They had been down 25, were able to cut it to 5 midway through that fourth.
Now, we talked about the MVP candidates for South Carolina, all very productive in this tournament.
May come down to these last 4 minutes if anybody has a final burst to get those votes.
Well, Wiley checks out. Edwards, Tessa Johnson, Raven Johnson, Kitts, and Hall on the floor for South Carolina. Here's Raven Johnson. She's done a great job of managing the clock here in this fourth quarter for the Gamecocks. Raven Johnson dumps it inside. Tessa Johnson lays it in.
Big bucket, big bucket.
Tessa Johnson with 14 points off the bench in this one. Harmon hesitates, fades, leaves it short. Rebound Edwards. It feels like South Carolina was able to weather that little storm Texas had brewing. Coming on 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter of the SEC championship game. Kitts putting on the deck, off one leg. Leaves it just off. Here's Booker. Booker curls inside. What a tough take from Madison Booker. And now Vic Schaefer is going to use his final timeout with 2:40.
Championship in 1986, going undefeated in that stretch, and now this is a team that's back on the map, as you mentioned, the number one ranking right now. And you know, the way he talks about this team, it's clear he loves coaching this group of young women, and he talks about their toughness and how hard they work. And we've seen that here, especially in this fourth quarter, Ryan, where they clamped down defensively and made some plays on the offensive end where they really could have let this game get completely away from them.
Outscored South Carolina 11-6 in this fourth. 2:45 to go, 14-point lead for the Gamecocks. They've had trouble getting the ball in bounds, and they do again as Booker knocks it away. Stays with South Carolina.
Texas is so good at defronting and denying, making all of these looks very challenging for South Carolina on the inbound.
Edwards gets it into Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson now will veer up the floor and now slow things down to run some clock.
Such a luxury for Dawn Staley, especially in these late game situations where there's so much deny, where all 5 of your players have good, strong handles and could put the ball on the deck.
Booker wiggling through traffic. Pressed in, denied by Johnson. Hall off to the races. They're ready to celebrate in Greenville, South Carolina. Tessa Johnson realized she had to get it across. Dawn Staley telling her team to wind this clock. Kitts misses the layup, but not the follow. Rejected by Johnson. And it is all cosmetic at this point with 1:04 to go in the fourth. And South Carolina a 20-point lead on Texas. Dawn Staley will go to her bench. What a tournament from Chloe Kitts, a career high in the quarterfinals with 25. 15-9-3 today. A player who just continues to ascend for South Carolina. Vic Schaefer getting Rory Harmon, Madison Booker out of this game under a minute to go. Plenty of basketball left to be played in the month of March for both of these teams. Charlie Creme has them both being a 1 seed regardless of what happened today. A reminder, Selection Sunday, a week from today. Shea Holley can't finish that one, but will go to the line to shoot 2. There's the trophy, which once again will be headed to Columbia. Just a complete attack today from South Carolina, up and down the roster. Production from all corners. A dominant defensive performance, holding Texas under 30% from the floor. Oldacre the block. Chance in transition here. Ali nearly throws it away, and now South Carolina can dribble it out.
An incredible team performance by South Carolina, just dominant on the defensive end of the game the entire time, especially to start, taking Texas out of everything they wanted to do. Did it as a team, the way they share the basketball on the offensive end of the floor. Dawn Staley talked to Holly Rowe at the half, said teaching our players how to...
Fagan lifting up that trophy. The full presentation will be on SEC Plus. Dawn